mentioned earlier that we have two very special guests today with us. We have two amazing women who are serving in missions both locally and globally. And so I just wanted to real quick introduce them both, and they're both going to share from their heart today about what it means to serve impactfully and meaningful worship. So I wanted to share first off for Miss Stacy Donovan. You want to say hi? Miss Stacy is the director of New Life Development here in Brevard County, right? And Stacy is doing some amazing work. She is the leader you're the leader of the director of development, correct?
Development.
Director of development. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I said it right. Well, we're going to watch a short, quick little video of Stacy, what she wanted to share, and then she's going to share from her heart today. Is that right?
When Cassius came in, he did not speak. The majority of our children that come in, they have so much trauma and they don't know what to do with it.
New Life Mission has been in this community for 16 years, transforming the lives of homeless women with children. So we're here with Miss Kimberly sharing more about Kids Academy.
Every child that comes in has a specific need, and it's different with every child. With Cassius, it was a lot of separation anxiety, and just to be able to get him from screaming for the first, hour or two that he's there has been huge, and that now he can tell us what he needs. He's using his words.
Cassius, look. What color?
With Cassius, he just would scream, or he would run up to us and headbutt us. His little body was so panicked, he didn't know what to do. So we just gave him a safe place to do that.
The changes I see in Cassius since coming into the program is he's not as angry. His speech has really improved. His academics have improved. He's making friends. He's making full sentences. He's not like that angry little boy anymore.
Something happens in the heart of a mother when she sees her children begin to thrive. When the children are taken care of, it gives mom peace and reassurance, and then she can start to move through the program.
You can tell when they first come in, they are as apprehensive as the children. We're new to them. There's a trust level there. So we see as the days go, they're trusting us more. They're excited about starting school or a job.
If you're worried about your child, how can you focus on what's next? Now they can think about school and think about jobs and think about what is it going to look like.
It means everything to me. Like, I didn't see this in my future, and it just feels so great, like, that I'm able to give him that second chance.
So 100% of the kids that come through Kids Academy because of trauma have special needs that need to be addressed outside of our facility.
So that comes with additional costs to the mission. So there's an opportunity for the community to come alongside us as a volunteer, take a tour, learn more about our mission, or help us with that financial piece.
It's very important for us to make sure that they understand how loved they are and that they're safe and that we're going to be there every day.
I'm able to fully be that parent that he needs because he's learning where he's at and he's loved.
Good morning. Stacy Donovan, Director of Development. This video really illustrates the impact that the mission has, which is why I wanted to start off with that. I wanted you to see one of our moms and one of her children and the work that we're doing to help these families become self-sufficient. Courtney was living in her car on the side of 95 in the rest stop. She lost her job and she didn't have a place to go. She didn't graduate high school, so it was really hard for her to get a job that would pay her enough to take care of her family. And so what Courtney needed was just a second chance. Her son was 4 at the time that she came to the program. He wasn't speaking at all, as you heard. The lady in pink is our CEO, Amy Lyon, and the lady that was next to her is our Kids Academy director. Just after a very short time of being in the program, we learned that Cassius just needed a pair of glasses. And everything started to change at that point. He's got safety, he's got stability. Once the child is making progress, mom's world starts to change a little bit. I mean, you know that if you have kids, you know if your kids aren't right, things are really hard. So we just needed to help her child get stable, and we needed to send her back to school so that she can go and get a job that would pay her enough money. 4 months later, now 5 months later, Cassius is speaking in full sentences. Courtney has attained her GED and she's continuing her education. She has a job and she has a brand new car. It's not the one that she was living in on the side of 95 that was falling apart and held together by duct tape, literally. The community is a big part of what we do at the mission. We got a donated vehicle, which we were able to give to Courtney. The reason that our program is so successful, we do have a 90% success rate. We've been here for 16 years. 90% of the women that go through our program and graduate do not return to homelessness. And that's because we're a faith-based mission. We know that Jesus is the reason for our transformation. And as a faith-based mission, we're pouring that into these women and to their children. But we couldn't do that without the support of the community. We are a residential program. We're not a shelter. We ask them to come live with us for 2 years. They work through a program. It's an accountability program. Not everybody that's homeless or needs help is ready for that kind of accountability and work that we're really asking them to do. But we're giving them the chance, and we're walking alongside them and pouring into them the gospel. 100% of the families that come receive the gospel and really are equipped, educated, and empowered to self-sufficiency. They go through the program. It takes about 2 years. After they graduate, we also have some affordable housing available to our moms to rent for another 2 years. So these families are with us for about 4 years. And after that, they are really ready to thrive all on their own. And they've all been introduced to the gospel, and we know that that's really how transformation takes place. Again, we really couldn't do that without the help of our community. One thing that we see with our volunteers is that transformation takes place in the heart of the volunteer. Something happens. You know, we all have a story of our own, I think. We all have something in our past. And I think God does something in our hearts, which is how I even came to New Life Mission. God just really does something when you decide to step forward in faith and serve. And the volunteers usually come away very unexpectedly changed. They thought that they were coming to serve these women and children, and they are. But what they weren't expecting was what God was going to do in their own heart. So we are very much thankful for the partnership that we have with both churches. So many wonderful volunteers. I actually met a woman who is here this morning who saw a video at one of our events, and because of that video, her friend's granddaughter is on our program today, and she's doing really well. So we have 4 campuses in Melbourne. I have a table inside. I would love to meet you. I would love to let you know of the opportunities that we have for you to get involved in our organization. And we're just so grateful for your support, for your prayers. Our goal this year for the mission is to really have more church partners in our community supporting what we do, because we really can't do it alone. New Life Mission has never utilized any government funding, so we're 100% supported by our community. Everybody here today, I mean, you're our people. The church is our people. That's where we're going to find the people to support what we're doing, to work with these women and these children directly, to put them back into the community successfully, healing through their trauma and breaking generational cycles of poverty, and we can only do that together. Thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, Stacy. We appreciate you sharing from the mission. And just like Stacy mentioned, both churches actually already support New Life Mission. And if you feel like you would like to volunteer or serve, feel free to see Stacy after the service. You can connect with her in the Welcome Center. You could also fill out a Connect card that's in the pew in front of you and drop that off on the welcome desk in the lobby on your way out today. We just appreciate you for coming and sharing, and what you're doing is just incredible. Very amazing. So we were just talking about our local mission here that we're supporting. Well, let's look at through the lens of global. Here is Miss Alice Matthews with us as well. Both churches support Miss Alice. She is a leader in the Cuba, Florida Covenant. Did I get that right?
That's close enough. That's great.
Awesome. So, Lynn, Alice, will you please share what's on your heart today?
Thank you. Thank you. What I want to do, first of all, is direct your attention up here to the screen. That's where your eyes should be glued. You don't need to look at me today because that's the cool stuff up there. That tells you what's going on. Both as First Church and also St. Mark's have sister churches in Cuba. And this week, and when I was preparing the slideshows and everything, I called and talked with the pastors in Cuba of the two churches, and they sent all these fabulous pictures for you guys to see. And they send their love, and they send their just tremendous appreciation for everything that has been done through the years, because you've had this covenant, both churches have had covenants with sister churches in Cuba for many years, and you have done so much for them, and they are just so appreciative. They just wanted me to make sure that I first and foremost expressed that to you today. But as you will be able to see and hear, the need continues tremendously. So how did I get started in all this business? I'm a retired educator, and I retired the second time back in 2014. I moved back to Florida with my husband, Tom, and we were just ready to live the good life. Well, 6 months later, after we moved down back home, he was diagnosed with melanoma cancer, and 6 months later, he passed away. So, where do you go from there? You think about all the broken pieces that one has in that kind of occasion, and what's God going to do with that? Well, I'll tell you what God can do with that, is that my girlfriend, Marlene Couch, who lived way over here on this coast, contacted me and said, I just went to Cuba. I had the most wonderful trip. And she just, it was ridiculous. I mean, she went on and on and on and on. And all these fabulous pictures and all the great work and and she couldn't wait to go back. And I said, okay, well, that sounds interesting. I always wanted to have trips and holidays and that kind of thing. But, I mean, who goes to Cuba? Good grief. I mean, this was 10 years ago. Who goes to Cuba? I didn't know anybody went to Cuba. But I said, sign me up. I want to go. And so that's how it all came about 10 years ago, was my trip going there. And when people go to Cuba with the Methodist Church, you are very thoroughly prepared before you leave. Lots of training, anything you can think of because you have to get your visas 3 months in advance. You got 3 months at least to ask lots and lots of questions. So I did. But I tell you what, I was not prepared at all for the great theft that occurred once I got down there. We talk about it not being a dangerous place for us, and I feel safe, but there was something very significant that happened. My heart was stolen. And it was the Holy Spirit. I mean, there's just no other way to talk about that. And it was disguised as the love and affection and just the whole feeling of the expression of the Holy Spirit through the Methodist Church and the people therein in Cuba. And that was just amazing. I was just overwhelmed in just every aspect you can possibly imagine. We arrived on a Friday night, and there was hugging and kissing at the airport, and everybody was just so excited that we were there, and it was wonderful. The next morning, they put us in, and they transported us over to the coast, to Guadalavaca Beach, and they were having this great worship and just thousands of people. And we were, as the quote-unquote VIPs, were up on top of these rocks, and then kind of down below us was the bishop and the district superintendent and all these pastors. And the people came along this white, pristine beach. And they were walking. They were the old and the infirmed and the young and the babies and the parents. And there were just throngs of people who were coming to worship the Lord and to be baptized. Now, I can't tell you how many were baptized that day, but I can tell you that about 2 weeks ago, the pictures that I showed at the beginning of this showed that there were 2,500 people in this location being baptized. I mean, not being baptized, being in worship. And they had 600 people being baptized. And, you know, what did Jesus do? Well, he was wandering around the seaside. He was speaking to people. And this just reminded me so much when I was there. And I prayed. And I wept. And my heart was just taken over by the Holy Spirit. And that is what I hear from everyone who goes down. We think we're doing all this great stuff by giving out of our pockets and our pensions and our, retirement funds and our whatever it is to help them. But when we go down there, it is we who are blessed. They have so many different projects and so many different kinds of things that you're seeing here on the screen, and I hope that they are also touching your heart as well. I'd like to talk to you about when we have trips that are planned for 2026, and I'm looking at everybody in this room, and you're all invited to go. We can make this happen. And there's 2 different ways that we do this. Through Methodist United in Prayer, which is the Cuba, Florida Covenant, we can take folks, and we go down to worship and fellowship. And there's another group that also goes down, and that is UMVM. And that's United Volunteers in Mission. And they go, of course, all over the country and do this. And one of the things that happened in my life as far as a blessing, if I weren't blessed enough with all of this, all of the gifts that God had sent to me with the being able to be involved in this program, he gifted me with a very unexpected personal and professional relationship with Aldo Gonzalez. And I'd like for Aldo, will you stand for me, dear? And Aldo is the national coordinator for UMVM, for Cuba. I mean, who in the world would have thunk it? You know what I mean? And God put us together. And Aldo has sent over 1,000 teams to Cuba over the last 30 years. And they go down and they do construction of churches. They renovate churches and buildings. And if you have an interest in putting a hammer or a brush in your hand or being a water carrier for the team, he's the one to talk to. And he'll be available to chat with you afterwards at the luncheon. We've got a table set up just like Stacy does. And so we'd love to talk to you about that. Now, the team that I help train and take down, teams, we don't do the construction, but what we do is we build relationships. And when we are going down to Cuba. And one of the people who is sitting here in this church today is Linda Cohen, and I'd like for her to stand up if she would, please. And Linda has been very involved with Cuban missions. Well, first at Suntree when she was part of a small group, and then she moved over to St. Mark's and has been a very key person there. So Pastor Dion, of course, has also been very involved in Cuban missions over the years. And so if you have an interest, or God comes tugging at your heart, and I'm not here, and you don't have my information, or whatever it is, you see Linda, you see Pastor Dion. They can answer your questions, or they can make things happen for you. Now, not everybody goes down for various reasons, but there's so many ways to support. And I think you can, and I've shown up here on the screen a number of ways that you can get in touch and to help with the families. The most important thing you can do is to pray. We can all do that. And there's so much need. The folks down there just have the most desperate of times right now going on. It is the most desperate has been since the revolution in '59. And so it's difficult for them to get food. It's difficult for them to get around from place to place. People walk because it's the inability to get replacement parts for vehicles, to get fuel, to be able to do the things that they need to do. If they have a bicycle, they are in hog heaven, I can tell you that. We have pastors and missionaries who walk miles and miles every day, and there's tremendous need. So there's the way that you can help with that. I was thinking yesterday morning when I was having my coffee, I have one of those little Keurig machines. I know probably some other people in the congregation have Keurigs as well. And it's so easy. I can decide what kind of coffee I want and just one for me every day. So I pop whatever choice of pod I have in there. Well, that little pod, if I don't get a BOGO at Publix, is going to cost me $1 a pod. And so I essentially send $1 a day for a cup of coffee in the morning. And I was thinking, if I multiplied that out in the month, that's $30 or $31, or if it's leap year or February or whatever. You get the idea. And the salaries for the people in Cuba, you don't believe this, everything costs like it does here, but their salaries are like $10 to $12 a month. How do they survive on $10 to $12 a month? And here I am drinking coffee, and that's a month's salary for when we try and support pastors at $30 to $50 a month. And that's what we ask congregations, in particular that have sister churches. Can you send $30 or $50 a month? And we know that's not going to feed the whole congregation down there. But those pastors and missionaries have people knocking at their door every day, hungry, and they will feed them before they'll feed themselves. So let's think about what we can do in a small way, and then see how it can build and how it can grow. And I'm so excited to have 2 congregations here and 2 sister churches represented. There's so much that can be done for this group and for these churches. I just wanted to share with you this morning that Pastor Dion asked us if we would reflect on a couple of things. And that is Galatians 5:13, serve one another humbly in love. And I just took that to heart so much this week. I really have just been thinking about that since she shared it. And she also said, work is worship. Who thinks about work being worship? Oh my heavens, it is. The work that we do to serve others is worshiping our God. And we serve the Lord, not people. That we serve the Lord, not people. Those things really stuck with me this week in my prayer time. So I would ask this. Please pray. Please pray for those who are in Cuba and going through these times, and those who are suffering, and those who are trying to help, and those who are trying to raise money to help. And remember that God does not choose those who are qualified. He qualifies those whom he chooses. And that's not original with me, but another thing that stuck with me this week. And I just say, God bless you all. Thank you so very, very much for what you do. Aldo and I will be joining Stacy, and we have little tables back in the luncheon. We want to talk to everybody. Any questions you have, there's no question that's not one that we can understand, that we won't make up an answer if we don't know really the answer. So God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alice. We appreciate what you do for Florida Covenant. So, friends, as we reflect on what's been shared today, we're reminded that meaningful work isn't just about what we do or where we go, it's about why we do it and who we're doing it for. It's about serving with purpose. I'm just going to wrap this up really quick, but in Colossians 3:23 through 24, it says, whatever you do, work at it with all of your heart as working for the Lord, not for people. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. That verse gives us a whole new way to look at our work, our service, our mission, and our everyday lives. Let me share really quick 4 quick takeaways we can carry from here. Number 1, Alice already mentioned it, work is worship. Every task, big or small, seen or unseen, can be an offering to God. Number 2, you're serving Jesus, not just people. Even when no one notices, even when it's hard or thankless, Jesus sees. Number 3, your work has eternal impact. What we do here matters, not just for today, but for eternity. And number 4, serving others reflects Jesus. We mentioned it already. Galatians 5:13 says, serve one another humbly in love. So friends, let's keep showing up. Let's keep serving with love. Let's live on mission wherever God has placed us, locally and globally. Because in the end, it's not just work, it's worship, and it's all for Him.